Seaman Lowell Cox. I told you there
Sorry,
were some good
that?
names. Seaman Lowell Cox.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Don't even have to make a joke about that one.
I mean, it speaks for itself. So, tell me something terrible.
I don't remember how we did last time.
Hi.
Hi.
Where's the camera? I gotta look at actually
It
the
is
camera.
right there.
Yeah, we're back.
We are.
We're doing another visual episode.
We are.
Here's the rules, though, YouTube. If we will continue to do this, if between now and next Sunday we get an additional subscriber on YouTube, we're at 7.
Woohoo!
I don't know how
Share
video
with your
works. Everything's
friends.
backwards. No. If you're one of the people that watch, because the last one got a fair amount of views, more views than 7. So if you watch and you don't subscribe, just subscribe, because then all you're ever going to see is like maybe once a week we'll post one of these. So yeah, if we continue to get more subscribers on Facebook or on YouTube, we will continue to do this. But if not, you can open a can. No one cares.
I just don't want to be too loud.
No, do it right in the microphone.
Right in the microphone?
Yeah, ASMR style. Beautiful. So yeah, if you want us to continue to record visually and edit and post them, we need one more subscriber. That's all I'm looking for. 1 per episode.
We do like that shameless plugging.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
And now we have to.
Don't just look at me all weird. Like, yeah, we do. Like, direct eye contact.
Your joke. I know it's the joke's coming. I just am trying to brush every shameless plug. The bird is so upset you covered. Look at, she's poking out above my head.
Do you want me?
You see her?
I can uncover if you want me to.
No, look at her. She's freaking out right there.
No, it's fine. I'll uncover.
No, it's fine.
She might escape if we uncover her.
We're going to have less animal interruptions this episode. Last one got off the rails with the animal interruptions.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I got to not touch the table, too.
Okay.
Because people think we live in a high earthquake zone, probably.
Most likely. Except it's the middle of Michigan, so definitely.
Deep in the heart of the Midwest. Is that how they say that?
I think it's more like northern. We're in like the throat of the Midwest.
Okay.
Ohio's like the heart.
I'm going to silence my phone.
Oh, shoot.
And now I'm ready to record a podcast.
Okay.
How do you not like the orange pineapple one of these, by the way?
Okay,
or
I think the problem.
Mango.
I think the problem was that I had.
Not brought to you by Vizzy Seltzers, but brought to you by Vizzy Seltzers.
Yeah, I think my problem is that I had like the what wasn't the pomegranate? I think it was the pomegranate blueberry one, and then I tried a sip of this afterwards, and I was like, "Ooh, no," because it's too different of a flavor.
It's so delicious.
But I had it first
yesterday
night, and it was really good.
We had company over.
Yeah, that we hadn't seen in apparently 3 years, but I thought it was 6 because I was probably drunk the last time they were here, and I just forgot about it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
No, it's good. We got Harry Potter video games in.
Yep.
We are going to record a live video with them as our Patreons.
Eventually.
Yep.
Yep, I've got the topic picked out.
Okay, now you're ready to do this one, right?
Yep, now I'm ready to do that one.
Say your name.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Why do you, that was not laugh worthy.
No, you were just so dorky about it.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's like I like you or something.
Lame.
So
she claims this one's short.
It is. It's
see
only
you guys in 45 minutes.
It's 2.5 pages.
2.5 hours long.
Yes, it's 2.5 hours long. No, it's 2.5 pages, so it's not going to be too bad.
Okay.
So in honor of Shark Week.
On
Discovery.
Animal Planet?
Yes. Question mark? No, it's Discovery. It's just plain old
Discovery.
Discovery
owns Animal Planet.
Mm-hmm, but I think it's just plain old Discovery. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's the best week in television.
Shark Week.
So we're going to learn about the worst shark attack in maritime history. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. So
is it in America? Like, is it off
it's
of one
American.
of our coasts?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't have assumed so. That's why I didn't.
No. Australia is where there's the most fatal attacks.
Okay.
I realized, but actually Florida is where there's the most attacks.
I would have guessed.
It's just not as fatal.
Okay. I was going to say, if it was here, I would have assumed it would have been Florida. But Australia, I know, is terrible for it, too.
This is way worse than you think it will be.
Great.
You say shark attack, and you're like, one person? Nah, just wait.
Is it the same shark?
No, it's hundreds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was one shark that was like a notorious killer or if like a swarm of them went after like...
I looked into the summer of shark attacks, but then I was reading some articles about how like the reason why it seemed so bad was because the media had nothing better to talk about, and it was like the only thing they were like, okay, well, I guess we'll focus on shark attacks because they're scandalous. But the amount of attacks that had happened that summer were not higher than any other summer. It wasn't an election year. It was no big deal.
Okay.
And then 9/11 happened, and
Sharks
that
went away?
yeah.
The sharks actually disappeared after that.
Yes. Like literally, it was that summer. It was like the summer of 2001, and they had nothing better to talk about. And then the coverage literally was happening through like the beginning of September, and then some people.
And then it went away.
Yeah, some people drove some planes into some towers, and a lot of people died.
And the news cycle changed. Forever.
Yeah, it really did. That wasn't traumatic at all at 8th grade, watching people jump from buildings. Yeah, 7th grade. Yeah, I was watching people jump from buildings in live television at 8 o'clock in the morning. That was cool.
Is that where this episode's going?
No.
That's a weird segue. Like if you went that
similar though, because we're going to talk about the USS Indianapolis, who was tasked with the delivery of Little Boy and the uranium used to level Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought you
so we went from one war to another war.
I thought you said Iwo Jima at first, and I was like, what?
No.
And then I was like, Hiroshima.
Yes.
Yeah. You kind of
Different
you kind of swallowed it into one word.
Well,
it is one word, but I just heard it as
both. Yeah. Nope. So we went from one modern day war to a little older war.
Okay. So what's up with the boat?
So it was a carrier, and they got all of the supplies, and then Little Boy, which was one of the bombs that was dropped in World War II. Or WWII.
What a shitty name for a nuke.
I don't remember what the other nuke was named. There was 2 of them.
Big Boy?
Maybe.
Little Girl?
And then
is like El Nino and El Nina? Because that's
but
terrible.
much worse.
Yeah.
One just affects the other, the
this
weather.
This is a different
kind
of warm wind you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Like the more terrible.
One's just a slight weather change where it might be a little rainier, and then the other one just decimates.
Yeah, it's like the Thanos snap. Yeah, it's a little different.
Where they've got like the shadows burnt. Anyway, it's awful. So they carried Little Boy and this tiny little box of uranium, which is like all of the uranium that the United States had to its name on this ship.
Okay.
Luckily, they had delivered it before this happened.
Did the sharks take down the boat?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
The Japanese take down the boat.
Okay, but if the sharks would have, this would have been a way sweeter story.
Yes. So after making its delivery on July 28th, it then sailed from Guam
What year are we talking? 19-something?
1945.
Okay.
So July 28th, 1945, it had...
For the record, I have no idea where Guam's at. I've heard of it a million times. I could not. If you gave me a globe, I'd be like, I had no idea.
It's one of our territories. It's kind of between Japan and the Philippines.
Okay, so in a giant
little island.
It's like Fiji.
Yeah, about there.
Okay.
Yeah, all
They're
those
probably
islands are kind of
7,000 miles
that,
away.
Probably, but it's in that like area that like in the Pacific Ocean. I almost said Pacific Ocean, and I was gonna be real embarrassed.
Yeah. It's west of Hawaii.
Yes. So they had
south of Hawaii.
Not south.
West. We have a globe. I'm about to grab it. Anyway.
It's up above us.
Nope.
So anyway, they made their delivery. They then sailed from Guam to meet the battleship USS Idaho.
If it doesn't have sails, is it still considered sailing?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I call it boating? The battleship motored its way across the Pacific Ocean.
Commuted?
Yes, to go meet the USS Idaho in Philippines. But the ship would never make it to the rendezvous point. On July 29th, all was quiet, and the ship just glided through like slightly swelling ocean at 17 knots per hour. The crew just hung out, playing cards and reading books, enjoying the calm. Captain McVeigh...
Timothy?
I would hope not.
You don't have a first name?
No.
Okay. We won't call him that.
No.
We're seeing how many terrible things. You've already started this, like, progressively horrible things. Just
maybe we'll do Tim McVeigh next time. Just kidding. He's awful and kills babies.
I don't know his backstory at all. Like, I don't.
Maybe we should. I'll do it. I'll add it to the list. Tim McVeigh. Okay, see bombing.
Yeah, okay, you don't have to write that. I think we know. I think we know his calling card. Like I said, I don't.
You don't know.
I don't know young Timmy. I don't know what happened to Timmy. How do we get here, Timmy?
So
who hurt you?
So he was the captain of the ship. He had asked for an escort through the dangerous territory, but for some unknown reason, it was denied. And even though the Navy knew about
was there a lot of pirates back then?
40s? No.
I just know like Philippines, don't they have like still have like
yeah, currently, yeah. No, they were in the middle of a war. I don't think people would be like, let's go steal some shit from this like liner when there's literal active submarines that are bombing things.
I do love learning about pirates.
Well, we live in the right town for it, I suppose.
I guess.
Okay. So he was denied the escort through the dangerous territory. There's no explanation why. And the Navy had known about these Japanese submarines that were still active in the area, and they failed to pass that information along to the Indianapolis. And the Indianapolis also was not equipped with sonar in order to detect the submarines. I don't know.
You're like, you have our uranium, but we're not going to give you sonar?
Yeah.
That seems dumb.
Right? Seems dangerous.
Yep.
So just after midnight on July 30th, the first torpedo struck about 65 feet down the bow. Bow. Not the butt of the boat, the front of the boat.
Can we take this moment to just plug the movie U-571?
That's a fun movie.
I don't know if it's fun, but it's great.
Oh my God, I forgot to include this in there. But there's a Nicolas Cage movie about this.
What's the movie called?
Man of Honor, ?
Medal of Honor?
Man of Honor.
Man of Honor?
Oh, shit. Man of Courage?
Maid of Honor.
Not Maid of Honor. Man of Courage. Anyway, there's a Nick Cage movie about this.
Well, I know what we're going to do later.
Yep. And I didn't write it down. I'm so ashamed.
If we have it's got to be on a streaming service, right?
It has to be.
Maybe we
have
can rent it at the
all
library.
Use our daughter's library card.
I have a library card, thank you.
Oh, I don't have a library card because I'm pretty sure I owe the library.
No,
late
after
fees
2
from
years
college.
After 2 years they wipe your record.
Oh, good. It's been 10 years, so I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Also, it was underneath my maiden name, so they'll never know.
I mean, you probably should like donate to the library.
We have enough books. We probably could.
No, I mean like financially, like pay your back debt.
My $2 worth of late fees.
Yes.
So, anyway, I got hit by a torpedo. Number one. And so according to one
This
Marine...
is the Indianapolis, right? Not the Idaho?
Indianapolis.
Okay.
No, they never met the Idaho. This is all just the Indianapolis.
A bunch of Mormons. I'm jealous.
I can't believe you
bunch
didn't
of
make
potatoes.
I can't believe you didn't make the Idaho joke.
No, that's too much low.
Too low of a hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's like a 7-year-old joke. I'm looking for like 12-year-old jokes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bunch of spuds.
So, according to one Marine named Edgar, I never heard his last name in the interview video that I was watching.
You have last names or first names? You're not going to have a full name in this?
Okay. Literally, the interview started with, so Edgar, and that was it. And there was never a name at the bottom. There was probably in the description, but I didn't read it.
Don't get too close to my drinks.
Sorry.
I know how graceful
Just
you are.
Throwing shit everywhere.
Party fouls everywhere.
So
there's been more than one podcast that's been paused because she's knocked over a drink. So, and we don't normally sit this close.
Has it been more than one?
It's been definitely one. I don't know.
Okay, whatever. I got the stain of the wine out of
this. Is like what episode 37?
It's going off the rails.
Oh,
we
yeah,
gotta
20
focus.
minutes.
Yep.
Don't put your hand up too much. You have a phone number written on it. I don't know whose phone number it is. Nobody can see it. Don't make it worse.
Oh, no. Okay.
I mean, this is in 1080p and all. I don't know if we said it on this one, but we're recording this one visually again. If you're listening audibly and you're like, oh, I'd love to see Tiff
me flash a phone number,
scratching a phone number off her hand now, so she looks like she was crucified.
It's the stigmata. I need a red pen for that.
Do you?
Yep.
I don't have any red pens. I do at work. I feel like I'm grading papers when I use it.
Anyway, torpedo hit the ship.
You're stressing everybody out. Put your
So Edgar, he was setting up a place to sleep on the deck above. So he was setting up to sleep about 30 to 40 feet away from where the torpedo hit. He said that you could hear and feel the bulkheads under the deck breaking as the water came in. And then the second torpedo hit a few moments later. And this was a little bit further down the ship. And this one down the bow. This one nearly severed the battleship in half. So at this point, everyone was scrambling to get on a raft or get a life jacket. The call was made to abandon ship, and the Indianapolis began to roll onto its side, with soldiers holding on to the edge, waiting until the last minute to enter the oil-covered freezing ocean water because it hit fuel lines and there was explosions and shit leaking everywhere.
At least the band just kept playing because that's what they were there to do.
Just a soul trumpet playing taps just
yeah.
over and over again.
That's a Titanic joke, in case you're super slow.
So it took 12
There
minutes.
might be someone out there that's never seen Titanic.
Titanic was. My dad took me to go see that in theaters when I was like 10. So yes, there may be a lot of people that are listening. That
I don't know.
a handful of people that are listening that are younger than us.
I was making sure that was a cat, not a child.
So it took 12 minutes for the 610-foot-long battleship to sink below the waves. 900 men out of the 1,197 crew members made it.
Oh, shit. I forgot we were talking about shark attacks. This is going to get terrible.
Yes, it is.
I was like, oh, yeah, a boat went down. Oh, fuck. This is about sharks.
Yes, it is. So 900 men out of the 1,197.
Became a giant chum bucket.
Yes. Made it into the water alive. The other 400 died in the explosion.
It's bad math,
Yep.
but okay.
Whatever.
297.
I studied art. And then by the end of this entire ordeal, only 317 people were pulled out of the water alive.
Okay.
So at daybreak...
That's not great
No,
percentage.
it's not. So at daybreak on July 30th, the men in the water saw the first fins of the oceanic white-tip shark.
I don't know what a white tip shark. I'm assuming it's just a...
They're kind of long and skinny, and they just have white tips on all of their...
I'll put a picture on YouTube now. I love...
Go for it.
That's as good at editing as I want to ever do. Just little boops of pictures.
So the explosion, thrashing bodies, and blood in the water drew the sharks in. The first day, the sharks only attacked the dead. Seaman Lowell Cox. I told you there
Sorry,
were some good
that?
names. Seaman Lowell Cox.
Okay.
Don't even have to make a joke about that one.
I mean, it speaks for itself.
Okay. He was stuck in this water for 5 days.
So what happens to Seaman Cox?
So Seaman Cox recalled seeing the sharks, quote, "We were sunk at..."
the Seaman seas?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
So we were sunk at midnight. I saw fins on the first morning after daylight. They were big. Some of them, I swear, were 15 feet long. They were continually there, mostly feeding off the dead bodies. Thank goodness there were lots of dead people floating in the area.
Seaman Cox could not believe how big they were.
But as the survivors struggled in the waters, they drew in even more sharks. Soon they were attacking the weak. The soldiers soon realized that there was safety in numbers, and the stragglers were usually the first to die. So, yeah. So if you weren't in a group, if you were by yourself, the sharks knew to target you.
Was there no doors for any of them to get onto or whatever?
I doubt it.
Or anything?
Okay.
I mean, there's probably some pieces.
Yeah, they couldn't find a lot of rafts, so it sunk so quickly that there was one the one Marine, Edgar, he actually before they had called to abandon ship, he'd asked one of his commanding officers for permission to cut down life jackets, but since it was only after the first torpedo hit, he was like, no, we don't have orders for abandoned ship yet, you can't cut those down. So a lot of shit went down. Yeah,
you could have tied him back up. Like, who cares if he cuts them down and you don't use them?
There's some
dinkly
ass like lowling that would be perfectly fine. Just
and
they're playing cards and reading. Who gives a shit?
Who's gonna shoot only one torpedo at you?
Nobody.
Yeah,
they're gonna shoot until you're down.
Yeah, they're gonna and they probably shot more than two. Only 2 hit.
Yeah,
but you guys,
but they had no sonar,
yeah.
So they couldn't tell. Stupid.
Cars have sonar now. How do you think Teslas self-drive?
Yeah, no, that.
Come on.
That's. He just mentioned it in his interview, and then there were so many people that went to the water without life jackets that they were salvaging life jackets from the dead. So they were going around checking to see if people were alive, and if they were dead, they took their shit off of them because there were so little life vests and barely any rafts to go around. Yeah. So these men are just not even bobbing in the water because they're still.
Do you know how hard it is to tread water for
exactly
5 minutes?
Exactly it. Try doing it for literally 5 days.
I can't do it for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
My center of gravity is
low,
an inch above my ankles. Yeah. I got no hope.
So the men started to gather in groups. There were some small groups all the way up to one large group of 300. One of those groups, because
they were Spartans.
Yes. So one of those groups made the mistake of opening a can of Spam from what little rations they were able to rescue off the ship. Yeah. Because they were starving. They were in the water for days.
Okay.
And so they opened a can of Spam to try to feed themselves.
Are they like cats? Could they hear the can open and the sharks just came?
Swarmed. They swarmed them. So everybody got rid of all of their rations of meat so that they would prevent another swarming of sharks.
That's crazy that smell, I mean, must just
Oh, yeah.
How's that different from, I guess, a live human flesh must smell different than a can of Spam?
I don't think they'd really
Can
care.
of Spam above ground? Above water?
It doesn't matter.
But still, that's just crazy, their sense of smell.
Yeah, sharks, because they can't see worth a shit. They have something, right?
Yeah.
That and like the weird vibration things that they have going down their bodies. Because they can feel like shit moving in the water.
Okay. You act like I
know anything about sharks. I love sharks.
I know, yeah, but I don't know like I don't realize that they had like bat-like receptors for vibration and.
Yeah, they're like lateral somethings. Anyway.
Oh, cool.
That's how they can sense like fish dying and shit, like in their death throes, and they're like, "Oh, food's gonna be ready soon." And
they hear that little when fish dies, and they're like, "Oh, where was this? Did someone open a can of Spam?"
That's why they really like Hawaii. All that Spam.
Oh, right.
Yep.
That's the sound Spam makes when you cook it.
So the men then just continued to wait in the water, hoping for rescue to come soon. The Indianapolis had sent out 3 distress signals before it finally sunk.
So they're waiting on those Idaho to get there.
Yes.
Okay.
So the problem, though, was that the Navy disregarded these messages, assuming that it was a ploy to lure American rescue ships into an ambush.
Oh, they thought it was like the Japanese messing with them?
Yes. So
what's the point of having a distress signal if it's just boy who cried wolf?
It gets worse.
Great.
And so the ship was not... So there were no ships showing up at all in the near future because they just disregarded it. And then the ship not showing up to the port that it was supposed to be at on time didn't raise any red flags either.
Is there a movie about this then?
This.
That would be... I don't want to watch that. I lied.
I kind of want to.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Maid of Honor?
Look it up. It's not...
If I look up Nicolas Cage's IMDb, he's been in 8,000 movies.
This one, I think, came out in like the 10s at some point. I think like 2016, 17.
Why is Nicholas Sparks on the top of my search history?
Ugh, why is Nicolas
Cage? I don't know. He's not. You're like the.
You do like
also,
a good chick
this
flick.
picture of Nicolas Cage is not great.
Ooh, no, it's not.
He looks like Santa. He looks like Tim Allen and Santa Claus.
Are you gonna insert that picture here?
I mean, I can, yes.
So the men continued to sit in the water. Soon, between the lack of food, fresh water.
Did you realize he recently got married to someone named Rico Shibata?
No.
I don't know who.
She sounds like a fancy bread.
Shibata bread?
Yes.
That's terrible. She's 26.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he has children. I don't actually
He's
know
57.
if he has kids. Still.
I don't.
It's fine. We're fine.
He has children. Weston Coppola Cage and Cal-Al Coppola Cage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've gone off the rails.
No. This is right where the rail should have been.
So the men continue to sit in the water. Soon.
Sorry. He had a movie this year called Willy's Wonderland. Come on.
Is he a truck driver?
I don't know. You got to realize that. Is it? Nope.
He's a picture like he's got a general's hat on.
Lord of War?
Not that.
I know most of his movies. I'm disappointed that I've never heard of this one. National Treasure, Jiu-Jitsu, Left Behind, Wicker Man, Kick-Ass, Pig. That was the new one coming out, I guess. This is good audio. No, you keep reading. I'll keep going.
Okay.
World Trade Center? You brought that up already.
I did. Call back.
Okay. I don't know.
All right.
You just keep doing you.
So the men continued to sit in the water, and soon between the lack of food, fresh water, hot sun, and cold nights, people started dying of exposure and exhaustion. Some began drinking the salt water, which led to salt poisoning, which led to foaming at the mouth, your lips swelling, and hallucinations and madness. So their life jackets began to get waterlogged, and the sharks began pulling live men into the water. You would see someone floating and bobbing in the water, and then you would hear a scream. Their head would go under.
USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage.
That's it. I was 5% there. I was right with the man part.
It's from 2016.
See, I got that right too.
See?
Look at me go.
See here.
I'm really good at remembering little shit that doesn't matter.
My phone's about to die.
Okay.
Anyway, I did not hear the last sentence. It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay.
They all heard it.
Yep. So you'd hear a scream, and then and then their head would go under, and then a cloud of blood would appear in the water.
Like straight out of movies.
Yeah, they would literally come up behind them and just fucking pull them down.
So it should have been like Men of Honor, Jaws 6.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So Seaman Cox recalled, quote, he had recalled, we are losing we were losing 3 or 4 each night and day. You were constantly in fear because you'd see them all the time, like getting pulled under.
Sharks?
Yeah, the sharks and people getting pulled under.
Just gotta start riding those sharks.
Yep. Every few minutes, you'd see their fins, a dozen to 2 dozen fins in the water, and they would bump you, and you never know when they were going to attack you.
That sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm. And so Edgar, the man with no name that I'd mentioned earlier, he recalled that there wasn't a second you weren't praying. Quote, it wasn't long until a straggler would be out there and you would hear the blood curdling scream and you'd look and see see that kebab, which I think is like the life jacket, go under, and you don't dare go. You wait, and you'd like to know who your buddy might have been. But it's happening so often, losing boys quite a bit. And when you go to check, you see the bottom half of a torso, or they were disemboweled. So like you don't know.
You're like looking at like that reminds me of like Saving Private Ryan, like Beaches in Normandy, where you just see like half of people crawling away and stuff.
Yes, and you don't know if it's your friend or not, and you don't dare go look because then you'd be like, let's go swim into some blood and hope I don't get attacked by a shark.
Let's get covered in the blood too. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so you just sit there and hope that it wasn't somebody that you knew. So he said for some reason, even though the sharks would get 6 to 10 feet away from him, they'd never attacked him. So like
Edgar?
Yeah, Edgar.
Edward?
No, Edgar.
Edgar, okay.
Yep. And so he got to... Cox was constantly bumped by them, so wherever he was not a good area. And then Edgar was
bumping
like...
Cox left and right.
So Edgar just kind of like saw them at distance.
They knew Edgar wasn't into that, so yeah, they kept their distance.
So the group that Edgar was floating with by the middle of the 3rd day had been reduced to 17 men. The group that Cox was with had been reduced to 10 men by the time that they saw their first glimmer of hope of being rescued. That was 4.5 days after the Indianapolis had sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Edgar's group, by the time that they were rescued, had been reduced to 3 people, and that was at the end of the 4th day.
So the groups must have been floating away from each other at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
So a Navy patrol plane was out looking for enemy submarines when he spotted the dark oil slick from the fuel. Then he noticed the bodies spread out across the ocean for 25 miles.
That's a ways.
Yes. Yep. He radioed for help, and within hours a seaplane returned to the scene and dropped survival supplies in rafts. Then the pilot saw men being attacked by the oceanic white-tipped sharks and knew he couldn't just turn around and fly back. So he landed and started rescuing men from the water. So he was blatantly disobeying orders where he was just supposed to drop and then fly, but he was like, no.
People are getting plucked off. Yeah.
One by one. So he started with the wounded and the stragglers, knowing that they were... at the greatest risk to get picked off by the sharks. Yep. After midnight that 4th day, which I guess at that point technically would be the 5th day since it's like after midnight, the USS Doyle arrived to help pull out the last of the survivors.
Oh, Doyle's rule!
So this is when Cox was finally rescued. And he remembers nightfall, seeing lights that looked like heaven, the lights shining from the USS Doyle to give the men in the water hope of being rescued. He remembers drifting in and out of consciousness and feeling strong hands pulling him from the water, knowing that he was finally going to be fine. Yeah, so they were in there for literally...
Someone finally got their firm hands around Cox and pulled him out. You said strong hands. I didn't say it any differently than you did. Why are you laughing?
So of the 1,197 man crew, 317 were rescued, with nearly 300, apparently, because I can't do math, I wrote 400, 300 killed in the initial attack and the sinking, and then hundreds dying of exposure, and then an estimated few dozen to 150, it's hard to tell, died from the shark attacks.
But how are the number of white-tipped sharks doing? I'm sure they're thriving.
I'm sure. There's just a boost.
Yeah.
And like it probably really threw off like the apex predator to like prey ratio. And just to really end on like a low note, the Navy managed to pin the entire responsibility of the situation on Captain McVeigh, who was the one who
Can we just blame the Navy for not giving them sonar?
No, the Navy wasn't willing to do that. They wanted to blame it on somebody else that wasn't them. So they blamed it on McVeigh, who managed to survive.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Yep, he survived through the whole thing. So he spent years getting hate mail until he had completed suicide in 1968.
Completed suicide?
Yeah.
Not committed?
No.
Completed?
Completed.
Okay.
Because it's not a fucking crime.
I've just never heard it said completed.
We've talked about this already.
It still sounded weird to me.
Okay. It's not committed because committed makes it sound like a crime.
Okay.
So the vernacular has been changed to completed.
Okay. I don't listen to enough podcasts, so I don't.
Clearly not. We've talked about this.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, we did.
On the podcast?
Yes.
I'm going to go back and listen.
Okay. So he managed to survive after years of getting hate mail.
Yep.
Yep.
He completed suicide.
He completed suicide
I just don't want you to say it wrong.
in 1968. And then the surviving crew spent the next 50 years trying to get their captain exonerated, which eventually he was, but it was posthumously.
Okay.
So, and that's the story of the worst shark attack in recorded history.
So they don't know how many people got it.
No, it's an estimate.
Yeah, of the 800 dead, it was probably
Upwards to 150. Yeah.
Which is still nutty.
Well, there were hundreds of sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would see a dozen
Were
fins
did they
2 dozen.
get shot down in it must be their mating area or something. There's no reason for that many sharks to be in one spot otherwise.
Yeah, there is.
Why?
They sensed food. Some sharks can sense blood in the water for up to a mile.
Okay, but these guys are spread out there's no reason
it could have just been
within
their
a mile.
Place.
Yeah.
That's kind of where their region is because the water is nice and warm and it's the right, food and the right temperature and the right depth.
It's like a sea anemone for a clownfish.
Yep. And then humans just happen to get thrown into the water and they're like, good luck, lumps. Have fun.
Yeah, the Japanese didn't even come after them they're dead.
Yeah.
You seen how many sharks are around here?
Exactly.
Maybe the Japanese waited till they were in the shark area and then they shot them.
Maybe.
Probably not.
No.
It's probably more opportunity. It was probably more of a happy accident.
Well, they knew because we own Guam, and we had a station, fort, whatever the fuck, on
Why
the
doesn't
Philippines.
Guam have a water company? They should get out. Come on, Fiji did it.
Oh. Sweetie.
I know.
Do you want me to ruin Fiji? There's a reason why.
I know.
love Fiji water. I will never fucking buy a bottle of Fiji water again.
No,
in my
I know.
life.
This discussion we have had before. Yeah.
It's bad.
No, I knew that was a
trigger.
That was like a
Dick.
big easy button for me to push.
Yeah,
it
was.
Okay.
Jerk.
Right. Do you have sources for this?
I do have sources.
Terrible story.
So it's the SmithsonianMag.com. There's an article named "The Worst Shark History."
That sounds horribly credible.
The Smithsonian Mag.
That was honesty. That wasn't sarcasm. Normally, you're like only in your state in Wikipedia.
I didn't use Wikipedia at all. I used SmithsonianMag.com and there's an article which is the worst shark attack in history, and then the BBC.com with another article named USS Indianapolis sinking, and then there was an interview on YouTube from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.
And a Nick Cage movie.
And it was verified. It had a check next to their name.
And a Nick Cage
and
movie
there's a Nick Cage
that you
movie.
never watched.
No.
And now we might.
Let's get drunk and watch people
drunk?
get eaten. Let's get more drunk and watch people get eaten by sharks.
Some of us got to work in the morning, homie.
Yeah, fuck it.
It's Sunday, right?
It is Sunday.
Yeah. My weekend's so messed up. All right. Well, thank you for that. That was
You're
terrible. As I don't think it's been that long. We started this when we started that.
We did.
Anyway.
It's not so bad.
Do we have any? We don't have any announcements.
I don't think we have any plugs.
No. And it's only the beginning of July.
It is.
We will be off the last week of July.
Yep.
No podcasts. Suffer in silence. Just kidding. Catch up.
Yep.
We put out a lot of these things.
Share with some friends. We'd appreciate it.
Right? All your friends.
All of them.
Both of your friends? That's more our jam.
If you really want to have especially new friends, give you awkward looks, talk to them about podcasts. Because I'm finding not a lot of people listen to podcasts.
It's either that's all you do or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Very few people dabble. I guess I dabble in podcasts a little.
Oh, yeah. This is a cute way to say you dabble in podcasts a little.
No, I mean listening.
Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of random crap.
Mm-hmm.
So then I don't listen to as many. And we got Discovery Plus and Expedition Unknown's on
Josh
there.
Gates
all
you
of
gotta
it.
watch.
Oh, that's one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time. So I'm not afraid to say it.
Right behind National Treasure. And The Rock.
That's a movie. These aren't movies. I'm
Still
talking
shows.
TV shows.
Whatever. So Ghost Adventures and Destination Fear.
Destination Fear more. Anyway,
Doesn't matter. We've gone off the rails again.
We might do. I was gonna say we could do an AMA on our Patreon, but literally we know all of our patrons, so it would be very uneventful for them. Maybe we'll do it anyway.
I've only met half the patrons.
Oh yeah, I guess some.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe in passing.
Anyway,
doesn't matter.
We'll just kick that can down the road. Is that what they say?
Sure.
Kick it down the road.
I'm notorious for like mashing together euphemisms,
you do.
so I'm the last person you want to ask.
Yeah.
His favorite thing to do is to tease me because I say from the get instead of from the get-go. Apparently that's not a thing.
Whatever. Go get yourself a drop cord, would you?
Oh,
freaking weirdo.
off.
It's an extension cord.
It's a drop cord because you drop it.
No, because it's an outlet extension. You could You could hang it from the rafters. It doesn't matter.
The big long like orange ones, not the little 3-foot like brown ones.
No,
like the big
they're all
long
extension
50.
cords.
No, whatever.
They're all extension.
Nope, they're drop cords.
No, they're not.
Yeah. If you've made it this far,
I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
No. Go get yourself a drop card from the get. Anyway.
I hate you so much.
We're not
Guys, we're going to be announcing our divorce next week.
We're not all from the mean streets of Michigan Center. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't.
It wasn't even Michigan Center. It was the trailer park.
That's true.
It's bad.
That's true. Anyway, thanks for listening or watching, whatever way you decided to hate your life this week. Just kidding. It's not that bad. All right. And we will,
talk to you next week.
Is this, holy cow, this isn't coming out tomorrow. It's coming out in 2 days. I can go to bed tonight.
Yay.
All right. See you guys later.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know where to stop first.
Oh, no.
I'm going here.
Can you hit space?
I'm so not left-handed.
Okay.
Hey, YouTube, we're leaving too.
Okay, bye.
I got to learn how to stop you left-handed too. So 5 more minutes of this. Bye.
Oof, that was terrible.